What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Community Corner podcast. I'm Arnav.
And I'm Nikhil, and today we're diving into a transformative topic that touches us all.
What? Sus?
And that item is food, guys. Specifically, we're going to talk about how blockchain technology is revolutionizing the agricultural industry.
Right from the farm to your plate. I think it's just so fascinating how blockchain, which is like often associated with cryptocurrency basically, is making its mark in agriculture. And many of you might be thinking, what does blockchain and technology have anything to do with agriculture and food production? But it basically promises transparency and efficiency through the supply chain, how the food travels from the farm to your plate, and just everything involved with it, including all the information. So I think it's important for us to begin by understanding the role of blockchain in agriculture. And so for our viewers, Nikhil, how exactly is this technology changing the game?
For sure. So for those of you guys who don't know, blockchain is a digital ledger, right? It stores information in blocks that form an unalterable chain. So in agriculture, what that means is it's able to record every single step of a product's journey, right? From planting that to harvesting it to processing it and then distributing it to supermarkets to sell to people like us. And so what's remarkable about this is that digital ledgers are accessible to every single person involved, ensuring complete transparency.
Yeah, I think one very prominent example of that is for example, if you're shopping for strawberries at a farmer's market, with blockchain, you can simply just scan a QR code on the packaging or whatever, and you can access so much information about it, like when it was planted, the details of the farm, how ethical are they, when they were harvested, even the journey to the store from the ground, if there were GMOs or products or fertilizers, because even people like to buy organic fruits and vegetables, which is better in general. It's like having a very trusty food passport, and I think it's so important to have access to that information, because a lot of the time we don't have access to that information, and a lot of the money during the supply chain process goes towards the distributors, which is not very ethical in my opinion, because the farmers aren't getting as much money, aren't getting the worth for their buck.
Not getting the best bang for their buck.
Yeah, bang for the buck, exactly.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, so I think what's also important to understand is transparency not only helps you make those informed decisions, but also ensures the safety and the quality of the food. You really want to make sure that the food that you're literally ingesting into your body and into your spouses, your husband, your wife, or your grandparents, or literally your kids, everyone around you, that you want to make sure that's good food. And so I think these kind of things empower consumers to know about where their food comes from and whether it aligns with their values. And that really helps us support things like local agriculture and sustainable practices.
Exactly. I think that's really important, because supporting our farmers with this extra transparency is just better, because it doesn't help those greedy, money-making distributors, and also supports our local farmers.
Mm-hmm.
But beyond consumers, would you like to dive deep on how this transparency specifically benefits the farmers?
Yeah, for sure. So this kind of thing can really track their product's entire journey, right? And identifies bottlenecks or areas for improvement. So when everyone in the supply chain has access to that information, it becomes a lot easier to negotiate fair prices, because everyone kind of knows what's going into that product and what's not.
Exactly. For example, distributors might charge might take 90% of the profit and give 10% to the farmers, even when the farmers deserve all 100% or even 90%. That's why local farmer markets are so important, because a lot of the money goes directly to the farmers and not the little middlemen in between who are basically doing minimal work.
Mm-hmm. For sure. And I think it also kind of empowers small scale farmers, like you said. It really gives them an opportunity to shine. And so if you, for example, I like to give this example of a small coffee farmer in a remote region, right? So blockchain can help them connect directly with buyers and showcase the quality of their coffee beans, right? It eliminates those middlemen, ensuring that there's a more significant portion of the profits that goes directly to this farmer. And so in a traditional supply chain, without the use of blockchain technology, there was going to be a middleman who would serve as that kind of communication piece. And he might be getting more significant proportion of this profits, even though he may not actually be doing the hard labor of literally sitting there on the farm day in, day out, putting in the work, getting those beans out. And so it's really important to go through that.
I mean, obviously there's a lot to gain from this technology, but there are many challenges when implementing blockchain. Not many, but there are obviously implications of that, and I think it's important for us to talk about it, right? Like, standardization is crucial to ensure the different systems can communicate seamlessly, but data security is very much another prominent concern. Because this information is sensitive. Like, there's a challenge of ensuring accessibility for all the stakeholders, including small farmers. So I think collaboration and like even education and just like overall people knowing what's right and what to do are key to overcoming these hurdles.
For sure. And another thing that really ties into this topic is smart contracts. And so smart contracts are really something that are digital agreements with predefined rules. So in agriculture, what this means is that they automate tasks like payment, quality checks, and delivery. So they go really hand in hand with blockchain technology when everything is starting to become more digitalized. And so think of them kind of as self-executing contracts that eliminate the need for intermediaries and make the process here faster and cost efficient. So that's kind of the theme you're going to see here, is that elimination of those middlemen, basically.
Yeah, I think a really like prominent example of that for like how smart contracts streamline payments in agriculture is like traditionally farmers might wait weeks for payments after delivering their produce, but with smart contracts, payment is automatic as soon as the agreed upon conditions, for example, like delivery, quality checks on the products are met. And like, it's very much like instant gratification for farmers and reduces the delays in payment cycle, and some of them might even get overlooked. Like, for example, if I have a week of hard work, I'd much rather get paid at the end of the week than like 2 years. I mean, that's like how relative it is for farmers, because like season by season, that those payment periods might not come for months. And so if you're struggling for a certain time living by paycheck to paycheck, it can be very like hard, especially in the agricultural market in today's world, where a lot of these big agriculture companies are taking over local farmers.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, that's definitely a great point. And I think, overall, like, this whole thing about blockchain technology really goes to show how technology can simplify complex transactions.
Exactly.
And so do you kind of want to share your insights on how viewers can imagine blockchain and smart contracts changing their everyday food choices, Arnav?
Yeah, I mean, I think just like kind of all in all, by scanning a product's barcode, you can instantly access information about its origin, ethical practices, its journey, it's from like the farm to the plate, right? And it just empowers consumers to make a choice that aligns with their values and supports transparency in food, and blockchain brings that transparency to agriculture. So hopefully by the end of the episode, viewers can understand how blockchain helps agriculture with transparency, how it supports our local farmers, and how it's just overall better in terms of ethical practices. And I think it's really cool how technology is paving a way for these, like, for a positive change in the system.
Yes, I think overall, really, I don't think that this is really just a trend or just something that's going to stay here for 10 years, but really this is something that can really stay with us for a long time.
Exactly.
As long as obviously agriculture is there, which it will be. Of course, hopefully.
Hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully, guys, we don't die from starvation, all of us. But assuming that agriculture stays there, this is something that will stay with us. And with that said, this is a very important topic to understand, especially if you want to go that route. Exactly. Even if you're not the farmer there, if you're someone that manages things like Whole Foods or some kind of local supermarket in your area, this is something that's very important to understand. It's a new and upcoming trend. And with that said, we'd like to wrap up this episode of the Community Corner podcast. We appreciate y'all sticking around till the end of this podcast, and we hope you found this insightful. So be sure you guys hit the like and subscribe buttons. Stay tuned for more episodes. And until next time, peace.